According to the Bold and the Beautiful teasers, 3 explosive plots are in the works for John Finn Finnegan, while his wife Steffy Forrester is away. Wood's maternity leave will keep her off the canvas for a while. What will her hot husband do while she is gone? Let us explore the possibilities. 1. Discovering Luna is alive and helping out. Finn detected a demon spawn in his cousin/daughter, Luna Nozawa. He regrets that he was unable to witness her grow up and mold her into a decent human being. Instead, her mother and his aunt, Poppy Nozawa, kept the truth buried. It ultimately came out, but only after she had killed 2 people. Finn's conscience tells him that he could have provided her a better life. Is his dream about to come true? According to rumors, Luna did not die on the operating table, and Finn's mother, Lee Finnegan, faked her death. This suggests Luna is hiding somewhere and waiting to be discovered. Do you want Finn to figure it out and bring Luna back to life? 2. Revealing Liam's tumor truth. Finn feels Grace Buckingham lied about Liam Spencer's medical condition and diagnosis. He is correct. Grace arranged the situation to make Liam appear to have an incurable brain tumor. Eventually, she persuaded his father, Bill Spencer, to pay her $1 million to cure him. Bill coughed up the funds, and Liam was released into his care, cured. All of this is too much for Dr. Finn, and we expect him to investigate, eventually discovering Grace's scam. 3. Getting closer to Sheila. Finn is prevented by Steffy from speaking to his biological mother, Sheila. But he went to her workplace and home, Illinois Giardino, to thank her for protecting Steffy from Luna. Even Steffy appreciates what Sheila did, but it is a stretch to believe she wants Finn to bond with his mother. That's not to say the mice won't play while the cat is away. Can you picture the chaos that would break out if Finn and Sheila were buddies when Steffy returned home? Now it's your time, BMB fans. Tell us which of these possible outcomes you want to happen. Brooke just entered the room. Eric told Brooke that he was attempting to instill in Ridge the significance of seizing the day. Ridge reminded them that it was a work trip, but Eric mentioned that Italy was full of love and romance. Things that the 2 of you understand very well, he continued, making Brooke smile. Brooke gazed at Ridge as she added to Eric's statement about how many wonderful, life-changing experiences they had in Italy. Eric agreed and rejoiced at the opportunity to go over everything again. Ridge wondered if his father thought he was exaggerating a little. No, the heart wants whatever it wants, Eric said, laughing. He informed Ridge and Brooke that he would leave them alone and meet them on the plane. To a transformative journey, Eric exclaimed before departing. When Brooke was alone, she told Ridge that Eric was correct. The heart wants what it wants, she murmured. Brooke took up where Eric left off, promising Ridge that they would inevitably reunite. He insisted that he and Taylor were engaged and planning to live together. Brooke derided the fact that their relationship lacked substance. She reminded him that they had a misunderstanding, but she still loved him. Brooke painted an image of their trip and how they planned to spend it. We will do our best. We love each other. How does that sound? Does this sound like magic? Brooke inquired hopefully. Brooke suggested they travel to Italy for supper and let the magic unfold, but Ridge replied, no way. Can't you join me for dinner? When will you come to your senses and realize that we belong together? Brooke inquired. I'm sorry you're hurting, Ridge said simply. Brooke bemoaned that she was in pain, and nothing made sense. We've broken up all over again, and why? She persisted. Outside the door, Taylor approached and began listening. Taylor overheard Brooke tell Ridge that he may be engaged to Taylor, living with her and sleeping with her, but he will never love her like he loved Brooke. And you can deny it all you want, but you love me, Ridge, and you always will, she told me. Brooke asked him to discuss it again. If you don't want to have supper with me, Nick will gladly do. But I'd rather it be you. Should be you, Brooke told him. And deep down you know it should be me. Taylor laughed at Nick at the Forrester mansion since he had a business trip to Naples at the same time as Brooke and Ridge. Nick liked to believe that luck was generally on his side. Taylor believed he could do them both a favor while in Italy. Taylor revealed that Nick was aware of her long relationship with Brooke, and she urged Nick to keep a watch on Brooke around her fiancé. Taylor stated that she did not want him to spy on Brooke, but she was aware that she would pursue Ridge, and thought it would be beneficial to have someone on the lookout. This is supposed to be a business trip, Taylor continued. It would be comforting if it stayed that way. Nick wasn't sure if Taylor was being mischievous or smart, and he said he'd think about it. Finn attempted to locate Grace, but she could not be found. As he hung up the phone with admin, Bridget entered his office and said she had tried as well, but had been unsuccessful. They were both curious about Liam's unexpected miracle surgery and departure from the hospital. Grace apparently had someone else covering her rounds, and they found it strange that she hadn't contacted them. Finn agreed that it was a miracle and that they were relieved Liam would survive, but Finn and Bridget were curious as to how she did it. He claimed he couldn't let go of the secret. The procedure took place off-site with an undisclosed doctor. Bridget suggested that the dangers were worth taking. Bridget stated they knew Bill wanted to preserve his son's life, and presumed Grace had informed him that the procedure may go place the next day. She mentioned that Grace's colleague was only available that day, and that the facility could accommodate them. Finn understood what she was saying, but he couldn't shake the impression that there were many unsolved questions. Later, Finn looked at Liam's x-rays and wondered, "What truly happened to you, Liam?" The nurse checked on Liam at the Spencer mansion while he was visiting Steffy. Sheila entered after the nurse departed, but when she spotted Steffy, she offered to leave. Steffy stopped her and invited Sheila inside. Steffy informed Sheila that she remembered everything, especially how she watched out for her. "I just wanted to say thank you," Steffy told her. Steffy thanked Sheila and asked if everything was forgiven, which surprised her. Steffy advised her to take the win. She pointed her that Sheila and Luna could have solved all of their problems by eliminating her, but she chose to save her instead. "And that's something I'm never ever going to forget," she told me. Sheila didn't want to overstay her welcome, but she told Liam how grateful she was that he wrestled the gun from Luna and survived. She did express sympathy for her granddaughter, knowing that no one would agree. Before she went, Steffi asked her how her foot was doing. "They're not going to be able to call me Sheila 9 Toes anymore because now I'm Sheila 8 Toes, Sheila stated, displaying her bandaged foot. Steffi and Liam were mortified as Sheila burst out laughing. "Oh, come on, you've got to laugh," she said. After Sheila left, Liam and Steffi declared that showing them her remaining toes was the can't-miss event of the season. Liam told Steffi that it was really brave of her to say what she did to Sheila. Steffi told Liam she had been digesting things and had spoken with Finn. She decided it was a good idea to take Kelly and Hayes out of town for a while. Liam believed that if it would benefit her, she should do it. Steffi cried, saying she didn't want to leave Liam and how much he meant to her. "You leave, I will be all right. And when you return, we'll be able to put all of this behind us," Liam urged. Brooke went to the design office to grab items. Taylor came in and asked if she was packing. She stated that she was there to have dinner with Ridge before their flight, emphasizing the word dinner. Brooke explained that Ridge was preoccupied with their trip, and she hoped Taylor would understand if he wasn't available. "Do you understand that he is not available?" Taylor entered and slammed the door behind her. "I heard you earlier with Ridge doing what you do best, making a play for him," Taylor murmured. Brooke wondered why Taylor hadn't made herself known so they could have settled it. "It's settled. Ridge is with me. There is nothing you can do in Italy or elsewhere to change this," Taylor warned her firmly. "Nothing is coming between Ridge and me." With Steffi gone, the Cliff house felt strangely silent. The lack of her laughter, her forceful yet loving presence, and even the faint sounds of her rushing around the kitchen or the children playing in the background had left a gap. At first, Finn tried to bury himself in work, thinking that his medical schedule and the constant needs of the hospital would help mask the ache of missing her. However, time has a way of exposing even the smallest cracks, and in Finn's heart, that void began to fill not only with loneliness but also with temptation. It began quietly. A late-night text here, an unexpected encounter there. The first move was one that even he may not have thought shocking at first, reuniting with Paris Buckingham. She had always been a bright, cheerful presence around the hospital, and despite their brief flirtation in the past, there was a strange, unspoken connection between them. When she stopped by to check on some hospital paperwork and noticed a trace of melancholy in his eyes, her empathy took over. "Are you okay?" she asked gently, and Finn, fatigued from maintaining a facade of strength, spilled the truth. "I'm not used to being without her." One talk turned into 2, then 3. Paris soon began swinging by after shifts, bringing him supper she just happened to cook extra of, or inviting him for a drink after a long day. One night, when the wine flowed too freely and the music was played too quietly, the unthinkable almost happened. They leaned in too closely. Her hand lingered for too long on his shoulder. The kiss did not occur, but only just. Finn drew away, remorse washing over him like a tidal wave, his pulse racing as he whispered an apology. Paris, with wide eyes, remarked, "I should go," and left. But the harm had been done. The line had been tested. His emotional commitment to Steffy had weakened, and the memory of that kiss lingered far longer than it should have. As if fate was destined to put him through further trials, Sheila reappeared in his life under the guise of salvation. Finn's second scandalous step was arguably more dangerous. He began covert meetings with Sheila. She vowed she was different today. "I just want to know my son," she had said, crying. First, Finn was resistant. He remembered everything. Her gunshot, the suffering, and the betrayal. But then she appeared with photographs of him as a newborn. "I wasn't all bad," she said softly, placing the faded photographs in his hands. The nostalgia, the mystery of his origins, and the underlying longing to know where he came from, what made him the man he was, overcame his better judgment. He met her for coffee once, disguised. Then twice. Then in his car, parked far from inquisitive eyes. He never informed anyone. Not his colleagues. Not his father. Definitely not Steffy. He assured himself that it was harmless. He needed closure. But the more she spoke, the more he felt something he never thought he would, pity. Her stories portrayed her as a broken, desperate woman who made bad decisions but never gave up on her son. Finn, despite everything, began to feel a terrible tug towards compassion. He even began to defend her in his thoughts. Perhaps she'd changed. Perhaps she deserved another chance. He was certain Steffy would never forgive him if she found out. He was aware that it had the potential to completely ruin everything. Nonetheless, he continued to see Sheila, believing himself that each time was the last. The third and most stunning step began as a night of vulnerability, and evolved into something he couldn't explain. Hope Logan had experienced her own emotional tempest. The end of her marriage, the continual pressures of being a Logan, the weight of co-parenting and public scrutiny. All of it left her exhausted and vulnerable. She and Finn had found consolation in brief conversations, usually about the kids or the demands of public life. But when they met late one evening, both tired and scarred by life, they ended up conversing for several hours. Hope admired and even envied his devotion to Steffy. Finn admired her perseverance. "I wish it were that easy," she remarked, looking out over the city lights from Forrester Creations' rooftop. To be chosen. Every day. Finn, who had always considered himself steady and balanced, felt a tremor of attraction beneath the surface. This was not like Paris, who was fiery and impulsive, or Sheila, who was convoluted and guilt-ridden. This was emotional. Deep. Hope knew pieces of him that Steffy never did, and he found himself confiding in her more than he wanted. They shared a long and heartfelt hug that night, and neither could deny the heat between them. There was no kiss that followed. No physical betrayal occurred. What about emotional infidelity? That is more difficult to describe and, in many cases, harder to forgive. The lines between friendship and something more blurred, and despite their promises to forget what was said, the memory stayed. The next time they saw each other, they smiled for too long. "You looked too closely. I thought too much." Finn became a man torn in three directions as the days passed. One hand grasping frantically to his allegiance to Steffy, another concealing the secrets of his contacts with Sheila, and the last reaching out for the warmth of someone who just made him feel heard. Each decision haunted him in various ways. He assured himself that he hadn't done anything wrong. There are no affairs. No confessions. There are no crimes. But betrayal does not necessarily take the form of a lover in your bed. Sometimes it's the signals you didn't send, the realities you didn't say, and the apologies you never offered. When Steffy eventually returned, bright and invigorated, Finn's heart plummeted rather than rose. She embraced him with her customary intense affection, but he felt like a man who had gotten too close to the fire and smelled like smoke. Could she sense it? Could she smell the guilt on him? She did not ask many questions yet. But Finn knew that as the days passed and Steffy returned to their normal routine, the truth would begin to emerge. Whether it was Paris letting something slip, Sheila pushing for more access, or Hope casting one too many longing glances, the walls were closing in. And if even one of those cracks deepened, everything he cared about could collapse.